Mawkzy had to go the long road to get here. He came through lowers, taking down Toxic in a reverse sweep, and then taking down Rawas. Those are actually two of Mawkzy's biggest all-time rivals. Toxic has a great win record against Mawkzy all-time. Rawas, obviously, has legendary matchups against Mawkzy, so he's taking down his demons, and now he has to beat the guy who sent him to the lower bracket earlier on in the first place. Chronic remains undefeated in the Chalkcast Duels tournament up until this point. Can he keep it going? One more match. Mawkzy seems to have elevated, in my opinion. I will echo what I said earlier. I didn't cast or watch the Mawkzy versus Chronic match 1. It went to game 5, 1 goal difference in the last game. That was on Rizzo's channel while I was casting Rawas CRR, so all I've heard is that Chronic played very well and thoroughly deserved the win. That's all I know about that match. But if I know something about Mawkzy, is that he can elevate. I've seen him step things up when his back is against the wall so many times. And that is something that Chronic will have to match today. So far he's in a bit of trouble. 2-0 Mawkzy. It is worth mentioning though that if Chronic can get the upset win here, and I would consider it an upset even though he beat Mawkzy this tournament earlier today, I think Chronic would put himself in the conversation for best in the world. Literally. I mean, you beat Mawkzy twice in a tournament like this with a stacked lineup. You take down CRR, who eliminated apparently Jack, who beat First Killer earlier in the tournament. Yeah, I think that's enough to put you in the conversation to be the best in the world. For now, it's all Mawkzy, 3-0. He hit form against Rawas earlier that made him look unstoppable. Oh my goodness, what a play by Mawkzy. Standing tall in the kickoff formation. Completely undeterred by Chronic, who stood right before him. Chronic with a ceiling pinch double attempt, that's almost in. Saved by Mawkzy. I think Mawkzy's mentality has just been too good today. He's tilted Rawas off the face of the earth in the semi-final. Now he just looks completely unshakable against Chronic as he bangs in a 4th goal that cannot be stopped. Now would this just make Mawkzy #1 in the world? That's up for you guys to decide, of course. You can all pick your own #1, top 3, top 2, top 5, whatever you want to talk about. I think it would, for me, again, just put him #1. He beat Rawas to get here, and it's just such a stacked tournament that, yeah, I think he just has to be #1 if he wins it. It's very close, though. Oh, good dodge. Chronic had a good lineup for the air double bump there. Mawkzy dives off the crossbar and slaps it away. The first time these two played was best of 5. This is best of 7. I think that just swings it into Mawkzy's favor even more. The main reason I think Mawkzy is a favorite here, though, is because he's beaten Rawas today. You know, coming off a win against his greatest rival ever, he will be feeling unstoppable. That, for me, is what just makes this a bit too difficult. Let's see if Chronic can get his teeth into this series. This game might be gone already. Like, getting a goal would help. I'm sure it would help his confidence more than anything else. The Crossies, thanks for the prime, and also smashing Thomas with the 55 tier 1. How you doing, buddy? It's good to see you. For Nicing, thanks to the 29-month tier 1. Welcome back to you. Gorby316 and Ollie9000, thanks to the primes. Welcome. Now that should be the first goal for Chronic. He takes his time with it, lines it up, and slots. Obviously the comeback is still way out of reach, but that will feel good to see Chronic has scored. Flash up on the screen in the grand final. Oh, Mawkzy's just so quick, that's insane. Chronic already calling next, that's 7-1. Chronic tried to fake it there. Mawkzy just lunges and takes him out of the game. That is a dominant display in the first game of the grand final. Anyone who's new, if we do happen to have any new 1v1 viewers, by the way, today or right now even, forfeits are pretty common, and I have not discouraged them pretty much ever. Well, maybe going way back I did, because sometimes they mess with statistics. If you're tracking stats, you want every game to finish. But now, recently, I'm absolutely fine with it for quite some time now, because yeah, in 1v1 you just know. Sometimes the deficit is so significant that you're forced to play such an unrealistic style of play to even have a chance that it's not even worth trying. It's better to just go next. And that's what Chronic's decided to do here. Oh my goodness, Mawkzy's confidence is just ridiculous. He's throwing himself into challenges. That's going to be frustrating for Chronic, because he's not had too many looks at attacking Mawkzy yet. And as soon as he gets his old hands on the ball, Mawkzy just lunges in and takes it away from him. Chronic ready for that back corner attack though from Mawkzy. The shot from distance, own goal by Mawkzy. I don't think that was going in, at least not immediately. Mawkzy's attempt at post pinching it actually puts it into his own net. Yeah, that was going. Oh, sorry, accidentally pulled my headset there. It was going across the goal. Of course, Mawkzy doesn't want to leave the ball lingering in his goal line, but putting it in is a step worse. Chronic closes the gap on the flick just in time. Mawkzy nearly own goals again, but that one goes off the post. Chronic collects in midfield. Mawkzy's pinch goes nowhere. And now it's Chronic in the air with a reset. Actually, no reset just yet, just a standard air dribble. Looks like a reset would have been quite helpful, because Mawkzy knew he did not have to cover multiple angles here. He just had to go for the ball. From Mawkzy's POV, he would have known that there was no flip available for Chronic. And part of the reason flip resets are so good is they force the defender to cover two options. That time, Chronic really only had one line of attack. Chronic with a super delayed flick and a super effective outcome as well. Wow, that is unbelievable. It's more of an air roll shot at the end of it, but he left that so late. Mawkzy must have thought it was a mind game. And that's something that will absolutely do wonders for Chronic's confidence. He stays low enough to avoid the immediate goal and dives in the way of the follow-up shot as well. This is getting better and better for Chronic, starting to succeed more in defense and find openings in offense. Quick glance to the side there from Mawkzy. Saw Chronic was advancing. And Chronic has gotten the ball past him again. It looks like it's hitting the post though. Mawkzy has been demoed and getting scored on again. Chronic answers back. He steps up to the challenge. I don't want to, you know, just keep saying it for the sake of saying it, but I want to point out that if Chronic can win this, it would be an unprecedented upset in 1v1. 1v1 has been dominated by the same 10 or so players, maybe even less than that, maybe even more like 6 players, for such a long time. In North America, it's been Daniel and apparently Jack, with First Killer occasionally resurging. In Europe, it's been Mawkzy. It's been apparently Jack when he was over here. Jorias, another name that you expect to see atop the rankings. But for Chronic to join in emphatic fashion would be something that we've not seen in a long time. I mean, maybe in a small tournament, 8 players with a lot of the big names missing, but there are not too many of the big names missing from this one. And Chronic's taken down several. Still in the lead by 1. Still making big plays. And make that a 2-goal lead. Chronic with an effortless flip reset and a booming shot to the top corner. Rampage RL, thanks for the 82-month tier 1. That is absurd, but welcome back to the channel. Chronic with the superior boost management. Looks like he's set to make it a 3-goal lead. Mawkzy thought he had his number there with the little bump after the kickoff. It really didn't do too much to Chronic's position. Yeah, as I've said a couple times this weekend, Zen was invited, Joreuz was invited, Vatira was invited. They were all unavailable. Well, in Zen's case, he didn't want to play, but Joreuz and Vatira were not available. TRK as well, unavailable. But yeah, even without those guys, 1v1 is in such an incredible position right now that without 4 top tier players, you can easily replace them and have 4 more top tier players join. It's actually insane how many good 1v1 players there are right now. You know, in my opinion, I might be biased, but I think the meta is in a super healthy place with all kinds of a variety of playstyles that are viable. You've got the defensive players, you've got the aggressive players, you've got the aerial attackers, the grounded attackers, you've got the physical game, you've got the flashy game, you've got all kinds of players who are in that conversation for best in the world. Mawkzy with a nice recovery here. He's got Chronic right behind him though. And now he's got Chronic right in front of him. No boost in the back corner for Chronic, but he's not bothered by that. Another booming clear. Keeps Mawkzy guessing. This is really damaging Mawkzy's midfield aggression. These constant power clears by Chronic are backing him up and denying Mawkzy the territory he so badly wants. Now Mawkzy in an attempt to dribble. Shut down by the early challenge. He will get his dribble though now from the other side of the pitch. Well, he overhits it. He'll have to go for the aerial play. Mawkzy denied by the early challenge. Chronic almost ahead by 4. It's good vision by Mawkzy, but it's not what he needs right now. He needs goals. Chronic is in a strong position, and he has been for a long time. Just composure by Chronic. Letting the clock win the game for him. He doesn't need another goal. He doesn't need any risks. And he will win the game. The ceiling pinch to seal it. Sorry, just had to ban someone in chat there. Sorry for the silence. I was just trying to Control F ban. Somebody beat me to it. Anyway, here we are in game 3. Mawkzy's unstoppable advance has been stopped by Chronic. Now we get right back to Mawkzy W's. Early goal in game 3. Why is chat toxic all of a sudden? Because we've got France against another Rocket League nation in a grand final. It's inevitable. I mean, I feel like the top 5 most toxic interactions, like fan bases clashing in Rocket League, have to be France and the USA. That's up there. France and Saudi Arabia is up there as well. That's another one. I think probably Saudi Arabia and Spain is another one. They definitely clash pretty regularly. Does the UK really get that? I don't know if the UK gets that toxic. UK is way too pessimistic to be like hyped about their own players and teams. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is the UK toxic? Oh wow, that's gonna. That one might annoy Mawkzy a little bit. Looked like he saved it on the replay, but Chronic must have got the bump on the server right before the touch came through. Yeah, that's going to annoy Mawkzy if it looked like that on his screen. Oh yeah, Brazil is... Yeah, okay. Yeah, so it's top 5. Saudi Arabia, Spain, Saudi Arabia, France, Saudi Arabia, USA, probably USA, Brazil with Furia in the US right now. That's got to be another one. And what would be the 5th one? Is Spain, France toxic? I don't know if Spain, France is toxic. Don't really see that match too often. Might be the Netherlands. Low-key Netherlands. Possibly in another option. What a genius spawn by Mawkzy, by the way. Completely outsmarting Chronic. Oh my goodness. I don't know if Netherlands has got a rivalry though. Don't know if they've got a toxic rivalry. I'm talking about toxic rivalries. It might just be like Karmine Corp against anyone, to be honest. Like, that's worth a shout. Always very toxic rivalries when Karmine Corp are playing literally any other team slash players. But yeah, it's inevitable. I wouldn't let it bother you guys too much, or you shouldn't let it bother you too much. Toxic fan bases are toxic. Nah, it's a bit too easy. Chronic's going to be annoyed that he let Mawkzy walk in at that angle. He had a lot of boosts to play with, and he just kind of covered nothing there by jumping. Oh, look out for the pinch. Chronic did. I know he does. Just about stretched up to the rebound. I thought maybe he's going to jump too late, but he had it covered. A very nice defensive awareness there by Chronic. Saw what Mawkzy was planning. Pinch was maybe a bit too telegraphed. Chronic's in Europe. So this is European servers. Chronic has given it a great go here. Actually leading in the grand final against an in-form Mawkzy, who's just tied. Offense absolutely locked in and rolling for both players now. Chronic misses the boost. That really delayed his challenge a little bit. France versus France, most toxic matchup. Now, to briefly speak about France versus France, yeah, what did you guys think about the KC Vitality match at Worlds? Because I thought it was one of the most entertaining matches I've ever seen. The crowd were electric. The gameplay was incredibly entertaining. The production obviously was amazing all weekend for RLCS. The setting was a World Championship semi-final, so it had it all. But the sad part for me was that one of the fan bases had to lose because, okay, Vitality were the better team. They thoroughly deserved the win. So yeah, glad to see them advance. But when KC fans lost, or when KC lost, I knew that was probably the last noise we were going to hear from the KC section, because whenever KC's not playing, or whenever KC, well, maybe not whenever they're not playing, sometimes when they weren't playing, the fans would still be making noise, but definitely whenever KC are eliminated, their fans just become like mutes. They're just absolutely silent. It's like they don't know how to function without the presence of KC in a tournament. They're like, wait, what do we do? KC's eliminated. They just become full NPC. They just sit there. So it's a bit of a shame for like the rest of the atmosphere when KC's eliminated, because their fans don't know how to have fun in the absence of KC being in the tournament. Now that's obviously up to them, and I know that they don't really care what I say. They've got their own way of doing things, and they've got their own ideology of how to support their team and what they want to do. So they're not going to care about what I'm saying right now. But my point to them would be that once KC's out of a tournament, does it really, is it that much to ask that you can participate in some way, shape or form? Is it? Is it that much to ask? I know that you're fans of KC and not Rocket League, but you're at a Rocket League event. You're allowed to make noise. It is permissible. I thought it was hilarious when everybody's doing the whole mobile phone thing, like the torches, and you look over at KC and they're just like, no! It's somebody else outside of our section started this, so therefore our phones will remain off. How dare you suggest that we should turn on our little lights? I thought that was quite funny, personally. But like I said, they don't care. They actually don't care. I'm speaking to a wall right now, a blue wall, that is, super loud and entertaining when KC's in the tournament, and then NPC when they're not. So that's just the way things are they're not gonna change, no matter what I say, no matter how many people agree with me. But yeah, I think it's interesting to observe. It's like you're watching a wildlife documentary. You're like, oh, look at the blue wall and its natural habitat, completely subdued by the elimination of Karmine Corp. And it's like we're not even watching. It's a totally different type of human. But yeah, overall, I love them. I think that they add way more to the event than they take away from it by filling seats with silent people when KC's eliminated. Fortunately, because KC's really good. If KC were trash at Rocket League, can you imagine how rubbish it would be? Like if they just got round 1 and then the whole section silent for the rest of the event, we'd be like, for goodness sake, guys, stop bringing 1,000 fans who are only going to cheer for 2 series. But luckily, KC is really good, so we get to enjoy the Blue Walls atmosphere, the Blue Walls entertainment for longer than 2 series, actually a whole lot longer than that. That's KC in Valorant, is it actually? Oh my goodness. They don't bring 1,000 fans and then just get eliminated and shut up, do they? Crying out loud. It's all I'm pretty consistent with this, okay? You can't, I know Blue Wall, you're all gonna say this isn't fair, why are you targeting us? I'm very consistent with this. I tell this to all fans at every Rocket League event. Rocket League is a fun game to just pick a side. If you don't have a horse in the race, pick one. If you don't care about either of the teams playing, just pretend like you care about one of them. Have a little like side bet on with your friends about who's gonna win. And suddenly it becomes a lot more entertaining. I could promise you that. Just do the whole like, let's pretend Carmi Corp are playing. Yay! Just do that chant over and over again. They just need chants for when KC's out. Oh my goodness, that's what they need. KC's got like so many chants for when they're in the event, but they don't have any chants for when they're eliminated. They just need to get to the lab, get to the drawing board, and come up with a bunch of chants for KC not being in the tournament. Genius. I've solved the problem. But yeah, Vitality fans, shout out to the Vitality Ultras. They actually participated in the rest of the crowd's activities, and they made more noise, like golf clapping and such, for non-Vitality goals. So yeah, Vitality fans, greater than KC fans in Dusseldorf, in my humble opinion. Would they have had the same energy if Vitality's eliminated? I don't know. I can only comment on their actions up till the match that they played against each other. But yeah, while they were both still in the tournament, Vitality fans were definitely on average more active and more involved in the event than KC fans. Commentary? You want me to commentate Chronic being AFK? Are you out of your mind? Okay, here we go. I'll just reset it because I think there's going to be some points in the scoreboard here. DTE1601, thanks for the 6-month prime. Okay, this is game 4 of best of 7, grand final if you're just tuning in. Mawkzy is 2 games away from winning the Chalkcast Duels 1v1 tournament, the first tournament run by Chalkcast, sponsored by the Chalkcast patrons and Chalkcast listeners. That's you guys. Well, some of you. And if it's... Oh. Now Mawkzy's lagging. This is unbelievable. Okay. I swear we're going to get him next time. I swear we're going to... Any minute now we're going to have a game. I swear. Yeah, it looks like Mawkzy might be lagging. I hope that's not going to be an extended issue. French internet can be a little bit suspicious sometimes. Don't know, does Mawkzy get internet issues around about this time? It's just turning midnight. I hope it's not... Uh-oh. That's not good. Okay, wait. Rhett the editor, thanks for the 60-month tier 1. Chameleon Hat, thanks for the 9-month prime. Why didn't I cast much of Worlds? I lost my voice on the Wednesday, and it was like back to speak by Saturday, but with like so many other casters being present, there was no point in... Like I casted, what was it, Moist G2? I was like, right, let's see. Actually, did I tell you guys what happened before Moist G2? I'm such an idiot. I nearly died actually before Moist G2. About 15 minutes before I'm about to cast Moist G2, and my voice is like not fully back yet, not even close, but it's definitely good enough that I can cast. I'm like, okay, I can cast a match. I go to try and like eat one of those protein bars that's sitting around in the green room, and a part of it went down the wrong way, and I'm like, I'm just actually like choking. But I also managed to do that with almost no air in my lungs. Like I choked with almost empty lungs. I was literally choking. So I had to take like the most strained breath in I've ever taken in my life. It was like to try and like breathe in past this chunk of whatever with chocolate bar or whatever you want to call it. And luckily I managed to like get enough air in there to then cough the particle back out again. But at that point I was just like, what have I done? Like I've already nearly, I've lost my voice the other day and it's not fully back yet, and now I've almost died 15 minutes before I cast a match. Yeah, it was tough. It was tough. And in fact, if you listen to that Mawkzy 2 match, you might hear the first sentence I spoke was probably the worst. It was the worst condition my voice is in the entire cast because, yeah, I'd almost died 15 minutes prior and it wasn't clear. It was clearing as the series went on. Yeah. At that point, I wasn't sure if I was going to be casting on Sunday or not, so I didn't want to go all in. Like, when, as I'm sure some of you guys will know, when you lose your voice, you can kind of just force your way through it if you want to, but after you only can do that for a certain time. Oh, what a shot by Chronic. After a while, you can't do that anymore, and you run out of steam, and then it's just even more gone. So I wasn't going completely all in. But it was still like bad enough that I thought, nah, I'm not. There's no point in me casting tomorrow. Unless I feel 100% in the morning, there's no point. Because this is like way too scuffed. Yeah, that's the story of how I nearly died. That's a good turn by Mawkzy. Nice recovery by Chronic though. Has he got a goal here? He does. No, he doesn't. He missed it by a mile. What's that? I don't know if he got impeded by the bump or if that was just a complete miss. Either way, looked like that should have been a goal for Chronic. He's managed his boost quite well here. I think Chronic can pull off a goal if he gets accurate shooting. No, it's not going to be accurate enough, and neither is Mawkzy, who's also missed an open net and is bounced up in the air. Well, they've traded open net misses, I believe. And now Mawkzy's got another one. Unmissable, and he's missed it! Surely! Surely! No, he doesn't even shoot the next time. It's a goal for Chronic. It's a wide open net and he slots it. He does the unthinkable. He puts it between the posts and under the crossbar at the same time. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Chalkcast Duels Grand Final. Mawkzy. Looking like me out there. That was unbelievable. I can't believe the first open net miss, fair enough. It was a rushed shot from distance. That second one was insane. It's like the air dribble bump wasn't going to work out either way there for Mawkzy. He's driven past the ball. Okay, Mawkzy's capitulated. He's totally fallen apart. Any kind of momentum he had has now gone. And he's a different player all of a sudden. Like, yeah, he literally just drove past the ball, missed every small boost pad on his way back to defense, and conceded. Please call me Carlo. Thanks for the Prime. Welcome to the channel. Hope you're all enjoying the world-class gameplay that we have on display. This is what I live for, personally. Chronic with a beautiful slow play. Mawkzy saves, and he's got an open net, so obviously he's going to hit the post. Never mind. He actually scores this one. Okay, they've both hit open nets. That might be us back to normality all of a sudden. Who would have thought? Consecutive open nets by the two players in the final. Ceiling recovery by Mawkzy. Early shot denied. Chronic's managing his boost well again here. Mawkzy has to be careful. I don't know if he realized that Chronic saved up some boosts here. It looks like he'll be fine. It's Chronic wasn't able to generate too much power. Lovely challenge there by Chronic. Faked and then reversed in for an actual challenge. Now he charges through. Mawkzy's absorbed that one very well though. This is awkward for Chronic now. Big time shot for Mawkzy. Ties the game. Chronic was sneaking into no man's land here. He wanted Mawkzy to take one touch. If Mawkzy takes a touch there to dribble, Chronic's in a good position. Mawkzy just shoots it one time, and in it goes. He's still been the better player by a reasonable margin in this grand final. Chronic has struggled to contain him. can you blame him? Mawkzy's form has been, despite the open net misses this game, undeniable. He's too fast once again. Chronic thought he could get at worst a 50-50 here, maybe even a goal for himself. Mawkzy just power slide turns on the wall and completely beats him to the ball. Now what does Chronic have left? He was able to lead or be tied for all of their earlier matchup today. This time he's been trailing since the start. Mawkzy made a statement in game one with a huge advantage, but now Chronic's coming back. That's a well-worked goal. Not an easy position to get a goal from here. Chronic having to ignore Mawkzy pretty much. It's always dangerous to jump that close to your up to your opponent, but Chronic making it look pretty easy. Mawkzy rapidly counter-attacking. That denies Chronic a big boost pad pickup, I should say. Bit of a tongue twister there after spawning. Just one boost for Chronic. He's cherishing it. There it is, used to add 1 kilometer an hour onto that shot. Chronic's in a lot of trouble here. His boost has been stolen. He's landed in position though and just gets a piece of the ball. I think he might be coming away with possession here. Quick look behind him. An immediate shot. Backs Mawkzy up initially. Chronic bumped away from the play. That's key for Mawkzy. Chronic wanted the reset and the rebound. Mawkzy's goal line defense holding up for now. Chronic racing back towards his goal. And in fact, he's coming in for the in and out save and he gets it. Mawkzy ran straight into Chronic there. And he did not expect that one. Final few seconds of game 4. If Chronic can tie, it's anyone's game. But from 3-1 down, I don't think many people would be picking him. But he's not going 3-1 down at this rate. Chronic gets ahead of the ball, pops it up, and smashes it in the top corner. Mawkzy had to back off. That flick from Chronic actually threatened to bump. That's why Mawkzy retreated. And what a play by Chronic to control the following ball. Mawkzy looking to catch Chronic off his goal line. No such luck. Chronic is in full control. And he can just shoot this one anywhere he wants. Blocking Mawkzy just a little bit. Mawkzy's up quickly though. He's got the ball past Chronic. Does he have the shot? He's got the crossbar. And Chronic knows it. Good read. Not a bad effort there by Mawkzy in the closing seconds. But I think Chronic just knew as soon as the ball left Mawkzy's car that it was destined for the bar. Game 5. Chronic fights back again. The level he's produced today has been the best Chronic that I've ever seen in 1v1. Not just as an individual, but relative to the competition as well. It's probably got Gen G and Jack thinking, honestly, give this guy the controller for Gamers 8 1v1s. This is incredible what he's able to do consistently against a player like Mawkzy. Breezenick, thanks for the 2-month Prime, and also please call me Carlo, thanks for the Prime. Appreciate the support in the stream today, guys. Chronic should be opening the scoring here. That's a great bounce for him. Has he sniped the post? Okay, it's in. Okay, thank goodness for Chronic, because if that hit the post, that would have been probably the worst open net of the bunch. The worst open net miss of the bunch. Chronic has got a good read on Mawkzy right now. That was a very early interception. You need to be so quick to realize what Mawkzy's doing. He is so fast and decisive when he does make moves. Wide open net for Mawkzy. Takes his time with it and scores. The boost starvation was just a bit too much for Chronic to handle. Had to cover high. The flick being threatened by Mawkzy. Such a powerful weapon when combined with the low 50-50. Chronic half flips away. It's a slow flick by Mawkzy's standards, but it leads into a boost steal. Chronic has only 12 to play with. His other back corner boost is being stolen away as well. Mawkzy taking away multiple big boost pads, but Chronic's surviving just fine. In fact, he manages to force Mawkzy to flip his car over there. A very strange interaction, but it's going to lead to Chronic having the boost advantage. Mawkzy right there in his face, refuses to back down. He wants a wave dash demo there, chases Chronic away from the boost. Chronic picking up small pads. Notice the pathing there. He knows he's getting his big pad stolen. He's way ahead of it and repositioning. Now it's his turn to attack. Chronic split straight at Mawkzy. That's not good enough. Mawkzy undeterred by the fake. The bump lands and Chronic can't get back to it. It looks like finally Chronic made an unnecessary move. That fake jump did absolutely nothing. It just left Chronic with no other options than to jump in the way of an incoming air dribble bump. You gotta wonder, did he need to fake a jump there? Did it really achieve anything? Mawkzy wanted to jump anyway. Perfect control by Mawkzy. Oh, and an even better flick. The wraparound to go up 3-1. Chronic lunges in. Recovered well. Mawkzy's placement is too good. Verza RL, thanks to the Prime. Welcome to the channel. Hope you and everyone else tuning in are enjoying Chalkcast Duels today and all weekend, if you've been watching. Oh, nice double tap. Mawkzy with the counter attack makes it 4-1. Chronic wasn't even that far out of position here. Mawkzy's just too quick with it. Little wall dash to add the necessary speed. When Mawkzy gets into this mindset, this full confidence mindset, there is not a player on the planet who can slow him down. Except maybe the post. He's had some problems with his open nets today. The post might have his number. Still a lot of time left for Chronic though. No need to panic just yet. Panicking, not what he's doing on this play. Stands strong in the way of Mawkzy, who's going to dribble the ball back and start all over again. Perfectly timed jump into the 50-50. Mawkzy not giving any easy routes to Chronic. Again, he dribbles the ball back. This is frustrating for Chronic, who wants to play a defensive counter-punching style. You can't do that against a player who isn't attacking. Chronic forced to make a move proactively. Here it comes. Multiple mind games. Chronic has a way through, and he's got the aerial shot to finish. What a sequence by Chronic. Fakes out Mawkzy, gets the ball past him, and keeps it in front of the net. Still a close game, despite Mawkzy's control, despite Mawkzy's possession. Chronic is staying in it. Mawkzy backs down. What's Chronic got from this range? It's an air dribble bump, and it's a good one. As soon as Mawkzy backed down, it was always going to be an option for Chronic. 1-goal game. Winner of this one will be on double match point. Chronic could bump Mawkzy here. Mawkzy knows that. Had to jump away from him. Oh, he's done well. It's a great play by Mawkzy. In fact, that might just be in. It is. Well, Mawkzy got a bit of a fortunate bounce for that to go in, but he did well to stay safe from the intended bumping play of Chronic there. Keep control of his back corner boost. Regardless of whether he got a goal or not, it was going to be a good position for him. Oh, this is brave by Chronic. Oh, that's maybe too brave, but he's been rewarded. A catch on his own goal line that nearly proved to be fatal. Final minute upon us. Chronic with a reset. Tight angle is lining up, and he's hit the bar. Mawkzy has landed poorly. Can Chronic recycle? No, Mawkzy's all over him. Chronic doesn't dive. Fake challenge. Reverse challenge. Does get Mawkzy to bite. The bump is just too strong. Mawkzy's boxing Chronic out. Good dodge by Chronic. This first time shot is nowhere near good enough. And Mawkzy is going to force Chronic to come to him. See, once again, such a frustrating position for Mawkzy, for Chronic, sorry. He's forced to dive, and when you dive against Mawkzy, you leave yourself wide open. GG is called. Mawkzy has 2 match points. Chronic taking the full time to settle himself for what's to come. He needs to do what Rawas could not do today. He's already done what Rawas couldn't do today. That's beat Mawkzy in 2 games. But based on the way these games have gone, Chronic will have to do it while under pressure. Relentless pressure that Mawkzy exerts on his opponents. He relentlessly attacks. He steals boosts. He bumps. And honestly, I don't think there's a faster player on the ground than Mawkzy in the 1v1 world. The amount of times he just dusts his opponents to the ball is honestly extraordinary, but that's a decent flick by Chronic. Well, we saw Mawkzy POV in this. Let's see what the Americans saw. Mawkzy pretty much in the right spot to be defending it. Chronic just sends it straight over the shoulder. No bloody names left. Thanks for the 2-month prime. Your tier 1 sub as well. Welcome to you. Oh, Chronic, he didn't have his flip left. Was that just too long? Maybe he was airborne too long since jumping to have his flip there. You've got to be careful with the wave dash recovery kickoff. Not to bounce too high into the air. Flip still does time out. You don't have a reset to work with. It's not a perma flip. Here comes Mawkzy. Oh my word. Pure perfection. It looked like he's lining up to flick it in the other top corner, but he just goes top left as usual. Mawkzy just deletes the ball on occasion. And in this occasion, it's in the grand final of a Massive Ones tournament. He is that guy. And now he leads. Chronic's kickoffs falling apart when he needs them most. He just went too late. Mawkzy had him beat. Decisive, confident gameplay from the Frenchman as always. Now the rebound. It's a slow one, but it's good enough. Not the cleanest takeoff, but more than good enough. Against Chronic, who turned a bit out of position there. That was awkward for Chronic. He didn't get into his net. He didn't even get to the goal line. Mawkzy is absolutely on form right now. Chronic will have to be on his. And here comes a chance for Chronic. It's not fast enough from him. Mawkzy sidesteps the demo and scores a 5th goal. He just saw everything in this play. A quick glance behind him. Oh my goodness, that's ridiculous. He just had a glance behind him to see where Chronic was, and he saw the nameplate close. Immediately swerved to dodge the demo. Mawkzy's vision is immaculate right now. 3 goal difference. Chronic going to the air dribble bump, but he's been bumped into saving his own shot. It looked like it might have been a bit high to start with. Just look at how many times the ball ends up in Chronic's half of the pitch. How many times Mawkzy ends up being the player in control of it. Dispossessing him is difficult. And Chronic's found a way to do so. Tripping up Mawkzy in the landing. He wants the direct infield shot. Mawkzy cut it off. Bumps Chronic away from the play. And he'll score an open net from distance. Well, Chronic had half a chance. You can't blame him for going for it. But he left himself open to being bumped out of position. Still a long time left. Chronic delays the kickoff. Tries to roll it through Mawkzy instead of chipping it over him. Mawkzy almost wraps himself around that to score with a wall shot. Mawkzy with the boost advantage again. Even with the ball in his corner, he's going to be first to it if he wants to. Chronic trying to back him up, but Mawkzy doesn't know what that means. He charges in again and asserts his authority. Chronic has just been a bit too hesitant in this game. When it got down to the business end of the series, there's only been one player who's continued to play as if it's game 1. Still more than half the game to go. That's what Chronic has to be thinking right now. Mawkzy up early to stop him once again. Not far off. What would have been a spectacular redirect there. Chronic advancing his defensive line. He knows that sitting in net will no longer work. That's a great recovery. Mawkzy is back, as always, to deny Chronic any scoring chances. Now time really starting to get away from him. Again, Mawkzy just jumps over the demo. Chronic has to score. He goes for the flip reset. And he does score. That was absolutely necessary. At this point, Chronic can count himself all in. The control that Mawkzy's exerting, the pressure that he's exuding, it's all Chronic needs to know to, I think, go all in on every play. Wow, well that was like a game of chicken. Chronic just looked at Mawkzy and waited for him to drop the ball. Chronic stripped him up. Does he have this chance to score this one? No, Mawkzy's still too fast as he glues himself to the ball. Chronic off the wall again. Another early flip reset. This time it's a low 50. But Mawkzy matches him. Still 4 goals the difference as the clock ticks down even further. Chronic has a good lineup for a shot here. It's an aerial shot and it's perfect. And to make it even better, he wasted absolutely no time. Got that one way past Mawkzy. 3 goal difference now. With a minute and 22 left. I feel like Chronic will probably get 3 good chances to score in that kind of time frame. Or will he be able to keep Mawkzy from scoring? That's the real question. Mawkzy starting to run out of boost a little bit here. Still enough to go up in the air and send the ball back into Chronic's half. I don't think Chronic's going to mind that too much though. His aerial game is coming online at the end, but now at the most important moment, it falls flat. That wasn't a shot on target. It wasn't even a shot at all. Final minute, and Mawkzy still leads by 3. He's still got the speed to keep Chronic at bay. It's just 12 boost for Chronic. Can he get one through? Yes, he can. He is still in this, and he's still fighting. And what we just saw from Mawkzy was a fake challenge. He's starting to go slower. Oh, the delayed kickoff's been read. Mawkzy's got an open net, but he gets demoed before he can get there. Chronic from distance. Mawkzy spawns to the correct side. Bree flips to save it. Chronic's still in control here. If he plays this right, it should be a goal. And he does play it right. Mawkzy's starting to panic. He jumps nothing. Completely boost starved. He threw himself forward, and Chronic goes under him. Now that 24 seconds will feel like a long time if you're a Mawkzy fan. Chronic has come back. Can he complete it? Mawkzy escapes the bump, and it's in. It's a dangerous game to try and bump Mawkzy. He will see you coming. A little break check was all it needed, and now Chronic's hard work is undone. He needs a kickoff goal. He desperately needs possession, and he is maybe going to get it. This is still scoreable. Chronic goes for another low 50 and it's in. Well, the drama continues. Mawkzy's kickoff at the last chance does not show up to the party. 11 seconds left. Chronic actually has time. He just needs the ball and some boost to play with. You know, a goal would be quite nice though. Mawkzy stops him from getting one. Now the boost is his. This is Mawkzy's game. It's Mawkzy's tournament. And he will not throw. GG's. Chronic made it interesting. He came back bravely. But there was no denying Mawkzy. Just too good. Definitely the best player we've seen today. Chronic gave him a run for his money. But there's a reason why everybody complains about having to 1v1 Mawkzy. When he's on, he's on. GG's. Shout out to all the players for participating. It was an honor to be able to host you guys this weekend. And yeah, hopefully this will be the first of many Chalkcast tournaments. If you guys liked what you see, then be sure to support the Chalkcast. It's a weekly podcast. It's not always weekly though, because sometimes we're away, we're traveling like right now. But we try to do at least one weekly live podcast. I'm sure a lot of you will be aware of, but if you're not, check it out. You get lots of Rocket League people, players, and casters, coaches, etc. on the show to talk about regular events. And yeah, the prize pool for this tournament was entirely sponsored by the Chalkcast Patreon. So, well, Chalkcast Patreon and Chalkcast ad revenue, essentially. So if you want to see more of these, then be sure to let us know that this is something you're interested in. And be sure to support the Chalkcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all of the places. I can't remember all the rest of them, but yeah, there's a bunch of places you can listen to it. And if you like bonus episodes, I think, how many bonus episodes have we got now? Like 17, 16, 17, I think. 17 bonus episodes.